Ever thought about what it's like to live on the edge, tangled in a web of crime and power where each decision can tip the balance between power and downfall? Today, we're diving into the life of a man who was deep in this risky world, a man whose choices led to some of the biggest crimes of the century. As secrets come to light, we wonder, how did he stay in control in such a dangerous life? Stay tuned as we explore his story, breaking down rumors and uncovering some truly shocking truths. Ready for a ride on the wild side? Let's begin. Born on July 10, 1914, Paul Vario etched his name as a formidable mobster and an influential figure within the notorious Lucchese crime family. Operating out of Brooklyn, New York, he led his crew of mobsters with an iron fist. However, his reign was short-lived as a conviction in 1984, following Henry Hill's testimony, led to a 4-year prison sentence for fraud. Barely a year later, he was back in court and received an additional decade behind bars for extortion. Vario's life was cut short by respiratory failure while serving his sentence on May 3, 1988. His larger-than-life character found its way to the silver screen, personified as Paul Cicero by Paul Sorvino in Martin Scorsese's classic film Goodfellas. Born and bred in the Old Mill district of South Brooklyn, Paul Vario's dalliance with law-breaking began early. At just 11 years old, he was handed a 7-month sentence in juvenile detention for chronic truancy, a formative peek into his future life. Paul's personal life was equally as tumultuous. His first marriage to Vita yielded 3 sons, Peter, Paul Jr., and Leonard. However, that relationship crumbled, leading to a divorce and a new chapter with his second wife, Phyllis. Famed for his volatile temperament, an anecdote paints Vario in his quintessential fiery character. During a night out dining with Phyllis, a clumsy maitre d' inadvertently spilled wine on her dress, further exacerbating the situation with a filthy rag in a bid to dry the spot. The spectacle was enough to provoke Vario into a rage, striking the maitre d' twice. The night did not end there. Vario retaliated by sending 2 cars filled with bat and pipe-wielding men to teach the restaurant staff a lesson after closing time. A personal tragedy struck Vario on July 20th, 1973. His son, Leonard, succumbed to severe burn injuries at Wyckoff Heights Medical Center, Brooklyn. The origin of these fatal wounds remains shrouded in mystery to this day. The grief was magnified during Leonard's funeral, as 2 unsuspecting television cameramen and a police detective fell victim to physical assaults by the mourning attendees. 1937 saw a dramatic turn in Vario's life when a 16-year-old girl from Howard Beach accused him and Anthony Romano of sexual assault. Found guilty, both men received a 10-year prison sentence. Vario found himself on parole twice during this period, but recurrent misconduct involving burglary and stolen property charges saw him back behind bars. His freedom came in 1962. Following his release, Vario joined the ranks of the infamous Lucchese crime family. He operated primarily from Gefgen's, an old German bar on Flatlands Avenue, and a junkyard in Canarsie. This junkyard became a notorious hub for an assortment of criminal activities, from hijackings and loan sharking to bookmaking and fencing stolen property. Rapidly ascending within the crime family, he was quickly promoted to a capo regime, commanding his own crew. His accomplices, including Thomas DeSimone and Henry Hill, were known for their unsavory engagements at John F. Kennedy Airport, where they extorted money in exchange for labor peace. Vario's empire expanded in 1965 following the death of mobster Jake Colombo. Swiftly assuming control of Colombo's illicit gambling operations, Vario soon faced arrest along with 8 others, charged with controlling a gambling ring. Further legal troubles followed in 1966, when he was indicted by Brooklyn federal courts for failing to procure a federal gambling stamp. By mid-1966, Vario was again arrested, this time with 17 others, charged with operating a bookmaking venture. Despite his illicit pursuits, Vario also had a hand in legitimate enterprises, a flower shop, a bar, a restaurant, and a taxi stand among them. One of his business fronts, Vario's Bargain Auto Parts Inc., served as a platform for illegal dealings. At his zenith, Vario's illegitimate enterprises reportedly brought in an astounding $25,000 a day. According to associate Henry Hill, Vario once confessed to stashing away $1 million in a single vault. Amidst his vast illegal empire, Vario also served as an informal consigliere to Lucchese boss Carmine Tramunti during this time. 1970 again saw Vario face legal repercussions when he was charged with contempt of court, resulting in a 7-month sentence at the Nassau County Correctional Facility on Long Island. The following year, the Gefkin family agreed to sell their bar and property to Peter Abenanti, a close friend of Vario, for a sum of $40,000. In an attempt to collect evidence against Vario, law enforcement planted an electronic listening device within his trailer at the junkyard on April 7, 1972. Coupled with this, an undercover detective equipped with a similar device began frequenting the trailer. Over time, Vario, convinced of the detective's corruptibility, began offering him bribes. This surveillance operation spanned approximately 6 months. By October 1972, the police staged a raid at Vario's junkyard in Canarsie, culminating in his indictment on November 1st for witness tampering. Vario had allegedly instructed convicted gambler Frank Heitman to escape to Florida to evade grand jury testimony in Nassau County. His arrest was no simple task. It necessitated a 20-minute car chase through the streets of Brooklyn. Later that month, on November 21st, he faced further charges of insurance fraud, having allegedly stripped a boat of equipment, sunk it, and subsequently filed a false insurance claim of $7,000. December brought yet another indictment, this time for attempting to bribe the undercover officer at the trailer. That same month, Vario pled guilty to a drunk driving charge and received probation, only to violate it in early 1973, landing him in jail by February. On February 9, 1973, the courts convicted Vario on charges of tax evasion, for which he was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison on April 6th. His time was served at the federal prison in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, where he found himself amongst the infamous Mafia row of inmates. In 1975, having served his sentence, Vario regained his freedom, only to find that he had been replaced as underboss in the Lucchese crime family by Salvatore Santoro under the new boss Anthony Corallo. Now on parole, he relocated to a place near Miami, Florida. 1978 was a year of considerable notoriety, as it saw Vario give the green light for his crew's involvement in the infamous Lufthansa heist at JFK Airport. The proposition was put forward to Vario via a phone call while he was in Florida, to which he promptly gave his endorsement. However, he was adamant that the operation be supervised by Jimmy Burke, who was in prison at the time. In December 1978, the crew managed to abscond with an estimated $5 million in cash and $875,000 in jewelry, a sum that would equate to approximately $26.4 million today. On February 9, 1984, Vario was found guilty of federal fraud. Hill, now a government witness, recounted in court how Vario had fabricated a restaurant job for him, enabling Hill's release from federal prison. Vario's conviction led to a sentence of 4 years in federal prison, along with a fine of $10,000, all decided on April 3, 1984. While serving his sentence, another indictment came Vario's way on February 21, 1985. This time, it was a racketeering conspiracy involving extortion. Vario, along with his co-conspirators, stood accused of extorting more than $350,000 from air cargo companies at JFK Airport by using the threat of labor issues. On May 3, 1988, Vario's life came to an end at the age of 73. His cause of death was respiratory failure, triggered by lung cancer, while he was incarcerated at Fort Worth Federal Prison in Fort Worth, Texas. He was laid to rest at St. John's Cemetery in Middle Village, Queens, New York. And there you have it, folks. We've unraveled the fascinating, intricate, and dangerous life of a man whose story seems straight out of a movie. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the underworld, breaking boundaries to shed light on the truth. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to continue exploring the captivating world of crime, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with others who revel in mysteries, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and as always, keep exploring with us. Until next time.